My mother would always say, you need to go to college. You'll go to Harvard when you grow up. Even though Harvard was so close, it yet seemed so far away for us. I'm Joe CURTATONE. I'm the mayor of Somerville, Massachusetts. And we spent our entire life here in just about every neighborhood. What I find most unique about the Harvard Kennedy School is really the people and the experiences. It's been the most powerful educational experience of my life. Professor Bilmes and I met each other in, it's about November 2003. I was participating in the transition for new mayors at the Institute of Politics at the Harvard Kennedy School. What we saw was an opportunity where the city could be an experiential classroom. The Harvard Kennedy School would be a resource of knowledge. Since then, we've been on a decade-long relationship that has resulted in many reforms, innovations for the city of Somerville.
The reason that Somerville is so important is because Somerville is an example of how really good management and really good leadership, all the things we teach at the Kennedy School, can actually transform a city. The students work in places like Somerville, then many of them go to work afterwards in municipalities around the world. And they've had this hands-on training, which is priceless and it's really rare. As an alumnus, I find myself to be a better listener, a better leader, and to approach different challenges, problems, and opportunities with a little different mindset. I find that to be a very powerful and moving experience. People used to say, you're from Slummerville. Now it's really inspiring that the community has risen up and said, well, if you want to know how you create an exceptional place to live, to work, to play, to raise a family, you look at Somerville.
So I grew up in India, and I think one of the things it did, it gave me a very strong sense of the belief that public policy is something that impacts what happens in the future. I'm ROHINI PANDE. I'm a professor of public policy at the Kennedy School, and I'm an economist by training, and I work in the areas of international development and political economy. I think there are lots of reasons why I was drawn to Harvard. For international development, it probably has some of the most exciting set of researchers working across the campus. One of the best ways in which they've supported my work is by giving me a lot of freedom to ask questions that often sound completely crazy at the beginning, but also being very willing to support me when I go to the field. And I think that's something that I have really cherished at the Kennedy School. A lot of my research is concerned with trying to think about why do governments choose the policies they do? How can we work with them? And what's the role of evidence in research in working with policy partners in designing solutions to the problems they face? A lot of my work is based in South Asia. We've been working with a set of microfinance institutions to think about how can we change the contract they provide so that women who are poor and face high risk are actually going to be willing to undertake high return activities, and that microfinance institutions actually potentially willing to give these loans. Since I teach international development, I think the one thing I always tell them is that there is no magic bullet, but that doesn't mean that you can't make a difference.
Mexico City is a very vibrant city. You have almost 25 million people in the metropolitan area. We face problems with transportation, with education, obviously. And that's why we think that new solutions, new approaches to make this a better city are absolutely crucial. I am MOIS CHEREM. I'm a social entrepreneur from Mexico City. I'm one of Innova's co-founders and its CEO. What was really interesting about the Kennedy School was that I realized that I could create public value by getting the public, private, and social sectors to work together for a common goal. Innova is a Mexican social enterprise that creates blended learning centers in low-income areas of Mexico. A lot of what we do has to to do with motivating people so that they can realize that they can acquire new skills and that they can be as tech-savvy as anyone in Korea or in the United States. Since the problems are so large, we really need solutions that have a lot of courage, that look at systemic change, and that have the structure to implement a vision. This year we are expanding nationwide. We are creating 84 schools in 1 year, so that is very remarkable in terms of the logistics, but also in terms of being able to expand with quality. It was really good to be able to talk to Harvard professors to challenge the idea and to hone the idea. I really felt intellectually empowered and just motivated to create big changes.